Yeah, Destiny Lab, a little blast from the past. BTY, Brandon Thomas in the house. Want you to dance to this music. Come on and praise his name, and at the same time move it. Don't think about it, just do it. Come on and feel the beat from head to feet. Move it, grab the rhythm and use it. Come on and dance to the beat and step into it now. Move it, glorify God with your movements. Come on and move, everybody move, everybody move it.
You wanna feel good, then get wise. Pray for the water in his hands to baptize. If you got the boy and don't wanna give it up, let me pour you the truth so you can drink it up. Taste what your heart and soul have been missing. See what your eyes can do with new vision. You can see the glory of all and get yourself saved. Never too late to start thinking the right way. I'm on a road because the touch is so gracious. Many never even place a thought on what he gave us. But don't delay if you're caught on the fence now. Jump to the side of the right and get the know-how. And watch the sparks fly in your system. And see the many ways it changes how you live it. You want it? I got it? Then give me a nod. And let's feel the beat of a pulse that feels God.
Want you to dance to this music. Come on and praise his name, and at the same time move it. Don't think about it, just do it. Come on and feel the beat from head to feet. Move it, grab the rhythm and use it. Come on and dance to this beat and step into it now. Move it, glorify God with your movements. Come on and move, everybody move, everybody move it.
Caliber of lyrical spiritual pleasure marsh pits. Destiny Lab taking all your ears hostage. We are fired up that the torch burn for the Lord, oh Lord, you got us through this dark world war. You try to battle us, believe you in dust, bro. Parable spiritual blessing manifest in dead souls. Just like the nitrous ejector glow. Blast flows and cast modes like we're already national. Pass the micro, let me come on in. Breaking obstacles for bumps called sin. One step closer and the day will come. Heavenly family united as one. We rip the beats and sweep the hits with passion. Destiny Lab counterattack the dark reaction. For the souls that are in need of the spiritual. Take your last chance, listen to this material.
Want you to dance to this music. Come on and praise his name, and at the same time move it. Don't think about it, just do it. Come on and feel the beat from head to feet. Move it, grab the rhythm and use it. Come on and dance to this beat and step into it now. Move it, glorify God with your movements. Come on and move, everybody move, everybody move it. Snares and traps, I speak raps controversial. Universal truths, use the word is my arsenal. Sword and truth, I'm a soldier. Paper pages crush boulders, trap you in the corner. No excuse, so you smolder. You steaming mad cause I'm exposed, a little demon on your shoulder. Folded arms with your nose in the air, like you don't care, but deep inside you know you're full of despair. Thought no one knew about the walls you built around you years ago. Now they cracked and crumble like a Jericho. First trumpet call cracks appear to cover y'all. Facade exposed from head to toes as the boulders fall. Now you're naked like a baby, exposed for who you are. Look in the mirror, show your scars. No more skeletons in closets, secrets under surfaces. Search the universe to find its purposes. Want you to dance to this music. Come on and praise his name, and at the same time move it. Don't think about it, just do it. Come on and feel the beat from head to feet. Move it, grab the rhythm and use it. Come on and dance to this beat and step into it now. Move it, glorify God with your movements. Come on and move, everybody move, everybody move it.
Come on and move, everybody. Move, everybody, move it. Only 6 minutes to starting. Hang out. Share. Make this something you want to do on your Saturday night because it could help somebody. Maybe I have some information that could change someone's life. Praise Yah. Share if you can. Like if you can. Stick around if you can. 5 more minutes and we'll get started. Could be life-changing information. Might be stuff you already know. You don't know until you check it out.
This is the moment of time, and this is the day and the age. We are the branch of the vine, and these are the fruit of his ways. We have been given these signs, approaching the end of the day. Seeking his word, read every verse, praying it's not in your face. Pray that he gives you a taste, pray that he shows you his grace. Pray that you make no mistakes, pray that you're walking in faith. Setting the pace, winning the race, embrace Christ. Did say, rise again like butterfly. Eternal life, he paid the price, praise Adonai. find. It is the will of God that none shall be lost, no, not even one. Everyone that looks upon the Son will overcome, and through His grace have eternal life and not succumb. And just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, the Son of Man lifted on the cross can save every one of us. Elohim, Father God Almighty, El Shaddai, magnified, through Him saved, edified. Jesus Christ made mankind sanctified, raised back to life, third day glorified. Dig up the truth, search of the fruit, no simulation. Bear by His root, bearing the fruit, no hesitation. My pursuit is absolute, there's no dispute, no imitation. Can't refute His contribution through creation. All foundation, not religion, but salvation. The culmination, perfect plan of His formation. The sounds of angels as they sing in celebration for the day of His return, for His final revelation. Elohim, Father God Almighty, El Shaddai, magnified, through Him saved, edified. Jesus Christ made mankind sanctified, raised back to life, third day glorified.
That was an accident. I was not trying to cut the song short, but it happened. 2.5 minutes. Stick around, share with your friends. It'll be fun. Be there. Marina, to answer your question on iPet Goat, I'm trying to think of what Casey's channel is. Somebody will tell me in the chat, but there's somebody named Casey that does a pretty good breakdown. He's a pretty big channel. It'll come to me later. Also, me and my friend Joshua, aka NPC 3.14, have done a breakdown of iPet Goat 2 only a few Saturdays ago. So I can try to find the link while we're on here. Help me remember and we'll get it done. You just got to get in. And what I like to say is get in and drive like a fast car. It looks like it's going slow when it's just sitting there, but when you get in, the wow factor hits you. It is simple. It is easily accessed. It is simple to understand and simple to earn income. You can use this income that you receive to purchase things or cash out to dollars. This token is an asset and utility token. No more useless tokens and coins, because there are so many out there. That's what people have a hard time understanding, is who can they go to? Where can they trust? And what coin and token is the best for them? This is definitely the one. What good are your tokens or your coins that you can't use to buy your day-to-day items?
Gonna get you. Bank gonna take you. IRS gonna get you. They're looking right at you. Better go digital. Crypto.
Hello. Here I am staring at the screen like all intense. I don't know if your connection is bad, Genetics. I hope not. Hi, Typical. And Marina, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm grateful that you would say that you love this channel. I wanted to consider what you asked, and I'm going to go look for that particular Solomon report. It might not be easy for me to figure it out, but there is a playlist of all Solomon report. So in the Solomon report section is all of our Solomon reports, and I may have titled that one. It's all up to Joshua what we title them. So it may be the one that says the fig tree generation here, but it would have been most recently. It definitely isn't going as far back as the spirit of Jezebel. And whoa, wait, those are really old. Hold on, let's catch up here. Hello. It might be the summer is nigh, might be episode 32. Oh, here it is. Hello, it says, Episode 35, iPet Goat Analysis. So I'm not saying it's the best analysis, but it is one that you can consider, and it's perhaps the right one. I hope it is. I hope that's a good one. I think we've done a pretty good job together. We've shared both what we believe to be a good, I think, interpretation of that video. It's pretty weird, but we've shared our own interpretations. I wanted to start out with my Thermopolis trip, and I did post several pictures even on my community page. If you're not familiar with the community page, you just go to my channel and you see all these different labels up here: home, videos, playlist, community. Community is where I like to post pictures. So there's our friend Justin Eberly, who's been on the channel many times. And he met me there in Thermopolis with his kids. We went to the dinosaur museum, went out to dinner, went to the dam at Cody. And that was quite interesting because I had never even been there. And these things are only a couple hours away from me, if you can believe it. So if you can hear me okay, let me know. Otherwise, it's only 3 of you anyway. But that's okay. Better than none. I don't like to be alone on my Saturday or my Friday night live all by myself. Also on the way, so Cody is only about an hour, maybe an hour and a half from my hometown. And then on the way, our little town's one called Matitsi, and we stopped there for lunch. And then we went to Thermopolis itself. I should post a picture of that because it is really fun. It's a hot spring resort. Everything they have is hot springs, just kind of like Yellowstone if you've ever been, but if you haven't, it's pretty phenomenal because it is hot springs, hot pots everywhere. And they even tell you that in Thermopolis, the hot pots are different than how the hot pots work in Yellowstone. So all these hot springs that bring in this really cool mineral water and create the ability to have, so the hot springs actually run into this river, and then they've got a resort of hot springs. They've got the dinosaur museum. So if you haven't heard of Thermopolis, Wyoming, it's actually a pretty cool place to go because they've got water slides too that go into the warm water. And this place hasn't gone, on the side of safety to the extent that they have a diving board that is like 12 feet, maybe 15 feet off the water, and it's kind of terrifying. And I got up there and I did it, and I had to stop myself and say, okay, my logical brain says I'll live if I jump off of this. But my other side of my brain says, don't jump off, this is scary. Oh my gosh, don't do it. But I did it, and the water went up my nose and made my ear hurt for like the whole day. But Thermopolis, Wyoming, a super fun place to go. So if you're like, I want to go on vacation somewhere, it is a great place where there's things to do with the kids. There's dinosaur museum, there's the hot springs, there's a buffalo ranch, or I guess it's a ranch, and you can just drive up and go see the buffalo and take pictures. Now, I'm from Wyoming, and we see buffalo all the time. And you go to Yellowstone, and you see lots of buffalo. But, maybe you haven't seen a lot of buffalo, or you just think it's cool to see them even if you have seen them. You can go in there, and you can check out the buffalo quite close up. So where we went in Thermopolis is called the Star Plunge. There's 2 places that have water slides, but Star Plunge had 3 or 4. Anyway, I don't make any money off of this. They're not paying me to tell you guys about this. It was just really fun. I thought you might have a minor interest in it. The funny thing is that we stayed in a place called Days Inn, right? Everybody's heard of Days Inn, but this one in particular is called the Safari Club. And nowadays this thing would never last. It would never last for a moment because they have safari, like sport heads, they kill for sport and then they mount the heads. So trophy hunting, that's what it's called. They have all these trophy hunting animals all over the walls at this place, everywhere. And so if you are not into trophy hunting and it bothers you, don't stay at the Days Inn. But they have other hotels and cabins. Again, not making any money off this. It was just a fun trip for me and my kids to take. And I know that people are always thinking of ideas for the summer, so I'm sharing mine and how much fun we had. And then at this safari club, it had this athletic club. And I was like, oh, I like to work out. I'm going to go check out the athletic club. It's going to be really fun. I go there and I'm like, at first they've got this sign that makes it look like it's really fancy. It's like breathe, enjoy, and it's got a desk with like a sign in, and I'm thinking, oh man, this might be like a local athletic club and I have to be a member or something. And so I'm waiting for somebody to come and be like, oh, where's your membership card? But as I get there, I see it's a really kind of janky desk that's just like sign in if you come in, and no one's working it. There's just some old notepads on there, and there's these hallways that say that they're like locker rooms, and then there's a workout area, and it was very kind of odd and creepy. You go down these, and it says athletic club, and they make it look all fancy, and you go down these hallways and there's no one in there, and they look like massage rooms, and they've got towels and everything. So I'm like, are they giving massages in here? But it's not like the aesthetic of a massage room that I would expect to see. I would think, oh, I'm going to see something like fancier than that. And then they've got those old steel tubs where you could put like an ice bath in. And anyway, then you get to another back room and there's like a hot tub wrapped in plastic. And I'm like, okay, I guess this isn't a fancy athletic club like I thought. And then I went into the workout area because that's where I want to be, is because I like to work out. And I'm telling you guys, it looks like it was straight out of the 70s, maybe the 80s on a good day. But it was so bad, I couldn't even work out there. I don't have pictures of that. That would have been kind of fun. But I do have pictures of the dinosaur museum, which was really fun to negate the 65 billion years thing. I'm like, oh, I don't think the dinosaurs are really 65 billion years old. But that's fun. And my kids kind of go along with me. And the other fun part is that they've watched all the Jurassic Park, so they have a pretty good understanding of the names of these dinosaurs before we even went. And if you are not a believer in dinosaurs, I am. I definitely think that dinosaurs existed, and I think mankind existed with dinosaurs. So I don't tell people that dinosaurs never existed. I'm not of that belief system. And so there was a mask incident. And I wanted to tell you guys, because maybe you can tell me in the comments that I'm the worst person that ever existed, or I could have at least handled this better, or maybe I handled it just fine. Hey Brenda, thanks for being here. But every time I see somebody in a mask, if I'm with a friend, I make the joke, oh look, that person has their mask on, they're saving lives. But I've never said it to where the person can hear me, because I don't feel like getting into an argument with people. I know they're going to want to wear their masks. That's fine. This one was interesting because we walked into the breakfast area where a gal was wearing her mask, and I looked at her and I turned to my family, who apparently didn't hear me say this at all, and I said, oh look, that lady's wearing her mask. She's saving lives. It's very sarcastic. It's probably not the best thing to ever say around anyone, but turns out her mother is standing right next to me after I said that, and she looks at me and says she has a special condition and she needs to wear the mask. And then instead of me apologizing and saying, well, I shouldn't have said that, I said, well, then I guess she would have to wear her mask her whole life. Now, let's look at both sides. I didn't need to say that, but my thought was, you guys understand that we're at a place where people think they need to wear a mask for something that we don't need to wear a mask for. We've never did need to wear the mask, and yet people think that now, if they have a special condition or anything like that, I don't know, a medical condition, that they should wear the mask. And what's very interesting is that the whole family was not wearing masks, but only the person with the special condition. And of course, I felt like, oh, I put my foot in my mouth because they have a special condition. But was there ever a time that these people were wearing masks before? Yes, the only people that have ever worn masks when they're ill are neutropenic patients. And those are people who have immunocompromised system because of cancer or some kind of treatment that lowers their immune system severely. Those patients aren't going on vacations. Those patients are in specific rooms, either in a hospital or in their home, because they are so apt to contract any disease out there, and that disease could kill them. And so on the one hand, I feel bad because the person is saying, well, I have a special condition, or my daughter, the woman was saying who heard me, she has a special condition. So I'm thinking, but then she would have had to been wearing the mask her whole life. The reason I said that was trying to bring logic into the situation. Unfortunately, all I did was make it worse. The woman starts crying, tells me that her daughter has special needs, and it kind of turns into the fact that the family decided I was making fun of their special needs daughter for having special needs. This was a grown woman, by the way, not a child. It was a very interesting situation, and it just brings to light the illogical aspect of wearing the masks. So what I should have said is, I'm sorry that she has special condition and maybe she needs a mask, and just moved on. Okay, so I can tell I'm boring people. They're taking off. I've only got 3 people here, but such is life. When we were on the Solomon Report last Sunday, I think we did, I talked about how upset how unfortunate it was that this World magazine, that is a Christian magazine, they say sound journalism grounded in facts and biblical truth. This is what they say about themselves, and I want to expose the fact that they are not into sound journalism and that they are not grounded in facts and biblical truth. They write several articles that are questionable. The only reason I bring this up is I was finally moved to write them a letter. And I will read that letter that I wrote them, and then I will read the response I got. But first I want to read their review of Sweet Tooth, the show where we have chimeric individuals that are half deer, half human, half owl, half human, whatever. I haven't watched it yet. There's several different creatures, and when they first advertised for this show, they advertised it like it was real. I saw everybody sharing it. They're saying, oh, this is real. Look at what they're doing. These are real chimeras. And they were the pictures from this show. Well, they're not real. It's from a show. It was just a bigger advertisement in mainstream media. And my biggest concern was what are they trying to portray here? Well, first, we've talked about the stag and the deer and the antlers and the satanic aspect of that. If you want to go back and understand when we talked about that Solomon Report on iPet Goat is one of them. But also, even in last week's, I think, on the summertime, we talked about it. And where's the beef? Bringing in the ox. We talk about these different creatures and why it has some kind of aspect of, it's satanic, it's demonic. It's not at all something that as a Christ follower, a true biblical, scriptural Christ follower, we should want. Again, World Magazine, sound journalism grounded in facts and biblical truth. Let's read what they say about this TV show, or Netflix show. In recent years, we've been inundated with dystopian entertainment. Netflix's new post-apocalyptic series Sweet Tooth feels a little different because it lets hope shine brightly through the destruction and darkness. The story is set in America after, quote, the Great Crumble, unquote. That's what they call it in the show. A deadly pandemic, that killed billions, and children are being born as animal-human hybrids. The world is in a state of lawlessness, and no one knows whether the hybrids caused the virus or the virus created the hybrids. Okay? Sweet Tooth is based on a comic book series, mind you, launched in 2009, but some of the pandemic imagery, masks, distancing, temperature checks, feel all too familiar. The comic series was dark and violent. That doesn't seem to spur any kind of concern for World Magazine. But this Netflix adaptation lightens the mood, offering viewers who've weathered the COVID-19 pandemic. Again, they're admitting that this is actually a real thing. They're not admitting, they're pretending that this is a real thing. That this brings those who've weathered the fake virus pandemic some joy amid the sorrow. And the story begins 10 years after the first wave of H5G9 virus that hits America. Gus, the little kid with the antlers, is a deer-human hybrid. He's a lot like a normal boy, except for the antlers, the ears, and the tendency to swig maple syrup. Aww. Well, he's been hiding in Yellowstone National Park since the beginning of the Great Crumble. When Gus meets Jep, a dangerous ex-military man, things change, and Gus convinces the big man to help him find his family in Colorado. But the world outside is wilder than Gus's home in the forest, and Jep must protect Gus from poachers who hunt down and exterminate the hybrid children. Poachers who hunt down and exterminate the hybrid children, of course, they're bad guys. They're not Christ followers who are trying to rid the world of the things of Noah, of the days of Noah. No, they're poachers. They're evil men. They're probably white. In fact, the guy that helps little Gus is a black man. They always bring race into this. Sweet Tooth features 2 other stories running parallel to Gus and Jep's. Dr. Singe is always an Indian, lives in what's left of the suburbs, and he's desperately looking for a cure to the virus before the next wave. How come he didn't find it in a year like we did? That's very interesting. Amy is a lonely woman who finds a purpose for her life when she begins to shelter the hybrid children. She finds purpose by sheltering hybrid children. She didn't find purpose in Jesus. She found purpose by sheltering hybrid children. She couldn't have sheltered children before. This is her purpose. She didn't have purpose before. And by the end of the season 3, the stories converge. The themes of the series aren't anything new. Humans risk extinction by disrespecting nature. Sounds like a liberal global warming standpoint. People fear that which is different. This isn't just different. This is the days of Noah. Come on. And mercenaries with hearts of gold protect youngsters. Oh, and the bad guys are poachers. Even so, the show works. According to this magazine that is grounded in facts and biblical truth. The show works. Okay. I lost my place. Thanks primarily to strong performances from these two people, the Mexican and the black person. Gus's wide-eyed innocence and optimism are the heart of the show, and Convery, whoever that is, manages to blend perfectly the scamperings of Gus, a 10-year-old boy with the scamperings of a young deer. Oh, he scampers like a young deer. The show contains many suspenseful moments as well as some violence, but the scary elements aren't too heavy. Each episode contains the equivalent of PG-13 language, which is a shame, because without the profanity, some families would feel comfortable letting children Gus's age watch the show. This is unbelievable to me. And anyway, you'll love the response to my letter. Still, it's worth noting that Netflix moved in the right direction with the series by toning down the more explicit content of the original comic books. Be warned, don't expect the pandemic or the fate of the hybrid children to be resolved. The 8-episode season ends on a cliffhanger, and whether Netflix orders a second season will depend on popularity. Okay. Let's go to my letter. My letter says, to whom it concerns, because I've never been this upset by a show's review from I've had World Magazine. I only get the subscription because somebody bought it for me, but they have proven before now, but this finally moved me. They have proven before now they're not Christ followers. This moved me to write them. So to whom it concerns, World Magazine often misses the mark when it comes to biblical reality in life today. And if the magazine were not subscribed to me by a friend, I would never read another page. Unfortunately, I happened to open the most recent edition, turning to movie and book review. I was appalled to see the review of Sweet Tooth as a feel-good show that has some light of hope for the world. Does anyone involved with World Magazine read their Bibles, or is this actually run by Luciferians purposely instilling lifestyles and beliefs that go against Scripture entirely? This show, Sweet Tooth, is clearly portraying chimeras as something not only good, but somehow innocent as children hunted by evil humans. These chimeras speak precisely to the days of Noah and the control over the world by the fallen angels and Nephilim. If you want to peddle this as feel-good, hopeful material, then I highly recommend World Magazine publicly repent. Prayers for you all. Me. The response? Unbelievable. The response was, Dear Aaron Lane Moffat, thank you for your recent letter concerning my review of Sweet Tooth. You are correct about the importance of understanding our world through the lens of the Bible, and I hope to reassure you that everyone at World believes in the inerrancy and sufficiency of the Scriptures. I personally believe the Bible and have spent a great deal of time in study. Let's get the background on this person who clearly doesn't believe in the Scriptures to the extent that they should, if you ask me. Tell me what you think in the comments or in the chat if I'm wrong. But anyway, this person says, I have an MDiv, not sure what that is exactly, from Southern Seminary in Biblical and Theological Studies. So they've been indoctrinated from a school. I've studied the historic interpretations of the Bible while getting a PhD in history, indoctrination from another school. How much you want to bet those schools are 501c3s? I also serve as a lay pastor at my conservative Southern Baptist Church. 501c3 much? We're right there with you. We love the Bible. They're right there with me. This person, Colin, says he's right there with me. And yet, somehow, he comes out saying how he's not. You bring up an interesting point concerning chimeras and the sanctity of human life. And perhaps I should have addressed this in the review. Hello? Yes, absolutely 100% you should have. I agree with you. He agrees with me. Scientists shouldn't create animals using human DNA. How about create humans using animal DNA? Colin. However, I don't think that Sweet Tooth advocates the creation of chimeras. Okay. Those who advocate creating chimeras in the real world want to destroy the chimeras in lab experiments, which is not... This guy is so out of touch, if you ask me. He's so out of touch. He is saying that, well, those who actually create chimeras in the real world want to destroy them in lab experiments, which is not the message of Sweet Tooth. That is not their goal. In fact, it is absolutely their goal to not only create chimeras, but to have a transhumanistic, that is not the end goal. Transhuman is not the end goal. The end goal is post-human, where we have creatures that aren't even human. That is the whole point of the mark of the beast. That is the whole point of a third strand DNA that I have talked about in my black goo videos and my black gold video. That is the whole point of taking away our God-given created DNA and making something else. Where does it start? What do you think the days of Noah were? I know you guys know, but this guy does not understand what was going on in the days of Noah. What has been going on since? What are the Nephilim? I even brought up the Nephilim. Let's go back. Let me finish this. He gets into C.S. Lewis. Again, he's clearly not really into the understanding of the scriptures like he says. He's got a PhD, he's got this MDiv, whatever, and he's a pastor. He does not know his scriptures. Hi, Linda. Hi, HD. Yes, World Magazine. It is worldly. Very out of touch. So let me finish. No one accuses C.S. Lewis of promoting paganism in his Chronicles of Narnia because he included imagery from Greek mythology. Sir, Colin Garbarino, who will never ever watch this video, that is exactly what people accuse C.S. Lewis of, and rightly so. The paganism from those books is beyond, it is, if you don't see it, you're not really reading it. And I didn't see it at one time, so I am not judging a person who loves C.S. Lewis. It took a long time for me to get to the understanding that C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien are in fact writing about the things that they know in a world that they understand, but they want to make it Christian and sell it to a lot of Christ followers and make people think, wow, these are the best Christ following stories. Meanwhile, they're giving the reality of these Nephilim creatures and pre-Diluvian creatures that actually existed that caused the flood. And they're making them good guys. This guy says no one accuses C.S. Lewis of promoting paganism. I would love to respond to this guy, but I don't even think it's worth it. Because unfortunately, his mindset is nowhere near mine. He says, I suggest we take a similar approach with other entertainments. In Sweet Tooth, the hybrid children function as a metaphor for humanity's need to live in harmony with nature. Okay? The creators don't actually want children with antlers in the real world. They don't? Does this guy know the creators personally? Has he had a conversation with the writers of Sweet Tooth in order to understand that they absolutely do not want this kind of thing in their world? What they want. Thank you for telling me what the creators of this show want, sir. I'm so glad that you know them personally to tell me. What they want is for people to respect nature. Okay? That's all this show's about, guys. Don't worry. Perhaps in the review I should have pointed out that the Christian understanding of living in harmony with nature and the secular understanding are different. I could have done better explaining this point. This guy could have done better explaining so much. He's so far off the mark. I can't even begin to help him, and I will pray for him. I'm not doing this because I hate this guy. I don't hate this guy, but I only wrote because I finally got to a point where I said, geez, I've been getting this magazine, and it's so bad, but this is the worst I've seen. So even so, he says, even so, I was impressed by the hopeful tone in the series, which is pretty rare in this genre. It's very hopeful. I was also impressed by the message that human life is to be protected. These aren't humans! I mean, I was so appalled by this response. that I swear this man has never prayed for wisdom, has never prayed for discernment, and has never prayed for truth from our Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach, once in his entire life. In fact, what he's done is gone to school and get degrees that say, I know the Bible, and now I'm going to go teach it, and I'm going to go tell people what I know the Bible to say. And it's disgusting. He should repent. He says hope and the sanctity of life are two fundamental themes in the Bible. I want to applaud Hollywood for promoting these Christian themes, though admittedly they did it imperfectly. He wants to applaud Hollywood. People, we are in a place that is so far gone that even Christians don't understand how bad it is. People who are theologians, people who are studied in the Bible, people with doctorates in history, people who've gone to seminary, people who are pastors, they are teaching other people that this is okay. And it really upsets me, and I don't think I'd be so upset if I didn't care about people. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be on this channel. I wouldn't even have this channel. I wouldn't even sit here for the 5 or so people that are here right now because I wouldn't care. I'd say, you know what? I just want to make money. So if I can't get 100 listeners, I'm not going to even talk about anything. Or I'm not even going to write a letter about this ridiculous review of a clearly demonic show. But this is who are the people that are out there that are Christ followers, they say, that want to spread the hope and the truth of our Lord and Savior. I wish they would. I wish they would. And yet this is 99% of the churches. HD says, are they really Christians though? It upsets me too. It's heartbreaking. Are they saved? Are they? If they go out there, 99% of the churches in this country, all over the world perhaps, as they go out there, even missionaries, you guys, just because somebody does a dangerous thing doesn't mean they're doing the right thing. It's very easy to look at somebody and say, well, you did something dangerous that I'm afraid to do, so therefore you're doing the right thing. You're spreading the work of the Lord. And maybe they are. But it's easy. I'm going to admit this right now, and if you don't believe me, I'm going to tell you how I know. It's easy to go on a missionary trip and act like you've done the right thing. But you can go there and spread just as wrong a message as if you stayed home and did it. And I used to think I need to go on a mission. I need to go dig a well somewhere. But if I dig a well and bring water, did I really bring the true water of our Savior? Did I really bring that message? Did I really show people who our Father in heaven is? Or did I just dig a well, make myself feel good about it because I went and did something that seems hard, and then I came back to the comfort of my own home and didn't do anything else? Am I going out in my own community? Am I talking to people right here, right now? Am I talking to you guys? Am I willing to subject myself to ridicule for what I believe in? Am I willing to have somebody shame me and say because I talked to them about, or because I said something about them wearing a mask, shame me and make me feel like I'm the person in the wrong because I want to send a better message than the need for a mask? I don't handle things right all the time. In fact, I can handle things better most of the time. But I truly do pray that what I'm doing is the purpose for the Lord and not for my own self. I had to go have a hard conversation with a friend. Well, not really a friend. I had to go have a hard conversation with somebody today that if I didn't, what kind of Christian am I to not apologize and mend the bridge of a neighbor and a friend that could be? And that's hard to do because you're going to go and you're going to possibly face ridicule or beratement or who knows what. And yet when we do it, everything changes. And so when this guy who says, I've got all these things to back up who I am, I'm some PhD, I'm this Colin Garbarino, and I don't expect you guys to go and write him or anything. This is totally up to you if you find interest in giving your opinion to him, but pray about it. Pray for this magazine who says they are sound journalism grounded in facts and biblical truth. And you could say, why do you even care, Aaron? Well, move on from it. Don't read the magazine. You're right. I shouldn't care, but I do. And I want people to know that this is not the right way to send a message. And there are people out there sending this message. You and I know. It's easy to say, well, we already know, and we're preaching to the choir, and that's easy. But I need to start talking to people that don't know. And this was maybe a first step for a bigger movement for what we're doing. We need to call these people out, but we need to talk to them instead of just making videos. I'm going to make some video, which I'm making now, but I already talked to him, and you see the response. You see what happened. And now I want to tell you guys, look what happened. But let's keep talking to him. Let's keep trying to have conversations that are hard. Let's keep trying to reach the people that are wearing masks in a better way than I did. And instead of making some silly joke about them wearing the mask, instead, let's try to talk to them about why they're wearing a mask and what do they know about this alleged virus. Maybe I'm not doing a good job of that, but I could do better. And I know you guys love me and you'll pray for me and support me in that. So that took a lot of the time. I wanted to mention one more thing. I got some new books. I got Bouvier's Law Dictionary. It literally is a law dictionary. It's not paragraphs of understanding how to become a sovereign versus a citizen. But this is something that next time I go on with Zen Garcia, which is coming up in July, we are going to talk about this being sovereign, human versus a citizen of our corporate United States. And I even try to do some internet searches on sovereignty, and all they are is articles just talking bad about your sovereignty and comparing us to like Timothy McVeigh and other people like that, which we know we know with some certainty that they're probably MK Ultra or monarch mind control victims, that Timothy McVeigh did not even know what he was doing that day. So I want to talk more about that and start learning more about that. I have said in the past that I was going to start doing more Bible study stuff. Hold me to that. I need to do just what I have said. Now that softball season is over, I'll be able to go live more frequently. And I just hope that maybe we'll get this channel going again a little bit more. YouTube is purging my viewers, or maybe my viewers are unsubscribing because I haven't been good at keeping it going and keeping the interest there. I've been kind of slacking, just mainly been doing Solomon Report. But guys, we're at episode 38 of the Solomon Report. We've been going this long, and I'm excited at how much work that Joshua does for this show. It's amazing what he does. It's amazing how hard he works. And so if you haven't checked out Solomon Report, please do, because I know it looks like it's long, but you can speed it up. The amount of information that Joshua puts together for us to understand is just incomprehensible. He's got the connections that a lot of us just don't have, but the more you hear it, the more it makes sense. Also, I want to remind you guys that I have not stopped in this crypto world. This is a business that has been phenomenal for me, and I want it to be phenomenal for you. And I want you to earn good income, not because we want to sail on yachts. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you want to sail on a yacht, but because this gives us purchasing power that the precious metals just aren't doing as quickly for us. If you have any interest at all in cryptocurrency, please talk to me. Email me. It's ladyliberty@countermail.com. I'm going to put it in the chat, but you can always find me in my Discord, and you can always find me here. I'm also on Facebook. Most of my links are in the description box, or they're in my homepage. Let's see here on my channel. So if you go to About, there's kind of everything there. So you can always find me on these other ways. You can even message through Patreon. You can message through I guess you can't message through. I gotta put my Facebook on there. You can't message through YouTube anymore. But I also have a PO box. Get into it. It's moving mountains, man. It's amazing. Amazing is a lame word. It's better than amazing. It's been something that has truly changed our lives, and we're taking vacations to Thermopolis. And in August, we get to take a vacation to South Dakota. These are trips I couldn't afford before. So there you have it. Other than that, I'm just glad that anyone would join me on a Friday night. I appreciate it. I think that that's a big deal, because Saturday night, people, they're in their homes, They're relaxing. And what have I got to talk about? Cryptocurrency and a trip to Thermopolis and a letter to the editor of World. But sometimes it's important, and sometimes it reaches just the right person at just the right time. And I'm so grateful for those of you that tuned in and had a listen. And we will be doing Solomon Report, as far as I know, tomorrow at the normal 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you, Brenda, and I love you. And everyone else who's here. If you haven't hit the like, please do. And share it. It may be just what somebody needs to hear. Hey, Chroma. I appreciate that you're here. I am just wrapping up, but if you don't mind, go back and check it out and see if it's share worthy to you. And if you don't like it, feel free to send it to your enemies. Oh, and one more thing. I am probably going up with Duke from World Bigfoot Radio for a Bigfoot hunt, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. That is the plan, and I may even buy the bus. So stay tuned for that. All right. Peace and love.
There in the deepest mine, now I'm gonna follow you, captive to what's gonna end in fire. Now I'm gonna follow you, leave it all for the kingdom come. It's gonna rise and they're gonna fall. Leave it all for the kingdom come. He's glorified, the victory's won. At you like a foe so vile. Now I'm gonna follow you. I couldn't see with my sins piled high. Now I'm gonna follow you, leave it all for the kingdom come. It's gonna rise and they're gonna fall. Leave it all for the kingdom come. He's glorified, the victory's won. Now I'm